Hey, good afternoon, Manchester, New Hampshire, and all the surrounding areas. It is a little bit nippy here. I've seen all you people wearing all these winter coats and these hats down over their ears and covering up their faces, and not me. I wear a very light jacket.
I know, but he had it. It's cold.
But I do have my. But I love the cold. Do you like the cold?
No. I spent many years working with the poor in the Caribbean, so the heat of the Caribbean is in my blood.
Up closer. There you go. Do you like the cold, Mary?
No, I don't.
No?
And I'm from New England.
And I must be weird because I love the cold.
I don't like it.
I think because growing up as a child, and I don't wear hardly anything outside. Only to heat up when I really have to. But anyways, folks, Mary is here as co-host, and we're very excited about having our guest to have
I really was. To me, it's a pleasure. Thank you for being here.
And we have Bishop Paul. Bishop Paul is going to offer a prayer to open us up with.
Lord Jesus, send your Holy Spirit into us, or that is to say, make us more aware of the Holy Spirit that's already within us, so that we don't judge people, we don't look down upon people, that we embrace all people as being part of ourselves and part of this temple of the Holy Spirit that we are. Bless the show that as it goes out to other people, that many people may be encouraged, maybe perhaps even to a degree healed, and certainly be joyful as we ask these things in the blessed name of the Lord. Amen.
Amen.
We so Father Paul and I've known each other for about 15 years, though.
I think so.
Maybe longer. No, it's longer.
At least 15.
Yeah, at least 15 years. Yeah. And I actually have to tell you, folks, I did a big surprise on him because one of my very close friends, or our close friends, when we order Chinese food, we end up getting pizza, but that's okay, But Father Paul, I'd like you to introduce yourself and give you a little bit of background about yourself.
I'm a bishop of the Celtic Orthodox Church, and have just built a little monastery in Toms Brook, Virginia. Our main church is in France, in the western part, in Brittany. That's where I'm attached to. And they asked us to start a monastery in the United States. So I just assumed it was going to be in New England because I'm originally from Massachusetts. But we prayed and we prayed and prayed, and Virginia kept coming up all the time. And so that's why I'm there. And it's already growing. We're sowing seeds. We already have one of our priests is from Virginia, another from South Carolina, one in Australia. We have a deacon in Michigan, and many friends. And so we've just begun. We're hoping that it will grow, and especially that we can be.
We're not going to hope, we're going to know.
You're right. You always tell me that. Yeah. It will grow. As long as we sow the seeds. Right. That part is up to us.
Yes.
When you toil, you do the work that you should be doing. Because I stray a little bit once in a while,
You?
Yeah,
No.
the little wild
Not you.
I thought you sowed your wild oats long ago.
Oh, I still have a little bit left, but not too much.
When I said we have to sow the seeds, I wasn't speaking of wild oats.
Oh, I see. Okay. But anyway, folks, this young man and I, we've known him for a long time. And I believe that you've always been spiritual, even as a child.
Well, we were brought up, actually, a very different kind of mentality from what you can find today in families and in schools. And we were brought up very spiritually, very, very spiritually. I knew already at the age of 8 that I was being called. And it had been made very, very clear to me. And I was always aspiring towards that kind of love of God and love of fellow man. And try to put it into practice.
Yeah. And I think you do a remarkable job.
Well, I don't know about that. But one of the things that really awakened me, I was sent to the Dominican Republic, and I spent 15 years there, and living with the very poorest of the poor. When I arrived there in 1977, people were so poor they had one meal every other day. And I still remember the feeling I had when I would hear parents tell their children, it's not your turn to eat today. Today's going to be Maria and Carlos, but tomorrow you'll be able to eat something. And I thought, if I had physical children, I have a lot of spiritual children, but if I had physical children to tell them, you wait till tomorrow so you can eat something, that would have broken my heart. Would have broken. But these people were very detached from material things. They weren't like we contempt to be in our society. I remember one instance, there was a man, all he had to his name was 100 pesos, which was about $3 American at the time. That's all he had. And while we were talking, his sister walked up, and he said, well, how are you? And she said, well, I'm sick, but I don't have money for the medicine. He didn't hesitate an instant. He gave her his last $3, and it never occurred to him that he wouldn't do it, leaving himself with nothing at all. That kind of love and detachment was very inspiring for me, very inspiring. Of course, a lot of things happen when you develop that spirit. It was a great seminary for me.
You learned a lot from it. You know, here in this country, we take a lot of things for granted.
Yeah.
You know, where we don't realize that even in our own country, I feel that no child should ever have to go hungry in this country.
Absolutely.
We
not.
waste more food. In fact, I'm
True.
working with a program that a gentleman's going to be calling me, and we waste more food. They throw tons and tons of food away when they could give it to the different charity people, and they choose not to, you know, because the powers that they be. And no, folks, it's not Democrat, it's not Republican power, and it's the powers that they be, the FDA,
Whoever they are.
whoever they are. Like I
And not
remember
only
McDonald's
feeding
used to,
children, but even animals too sometimes.
yeah. And when the McDonald's used to give the people the stuff, and they used to call it dumpster diving, but now the people, you know, and I look outside and I say, my gosh. But then a lot of them choose to be living outside.
That's
I'm not
true.
seeing all of them,
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
you know. And, you know, and the best that we can do is pray for them.
Mm-hmm.
And ask them, and I've offered many prayers of positive energy to help these people who are homeless.
Mm-hmm.
Help these
Because some
people.
of them are homeless, and it's because they really have mental deficiencies or
or
health
loss of
problems
jobs,
and things, or they've lost everything. And so people like that, of course, we should help. We really should.
and you've got to remember, folks, you're one paycheck away from that happening.
Hmm.
Whether you own a home or whether you're renting an apartment, unless you're a multimillionaire like David, Lorraine, and Bishop Paul here.
We are very wealthy, but not in finance.
There you go. But
It's true what you're saying. Like in 2008, when that big crash took place, a lot of very wealthy people from Silicon Valley, for example, ended up having to sleep in their cars.
Yeah. Well, I had a gentleman, Bishop, that he was making $250,000 a year, and she was making $150,000. That's the thing that always set in my mind. He got laid off. He did not know how they were going to survive.
Oh, my goodness.
I said, but your wife is still working. But they were used to that high-end
high-end living.
Right? And I said, well, one of the things you've got to do is you've got to sell your house and bring your price down lower and get yourself like a condo or a townhouse. Yeah. His children refused having to do with him because they didn't have all that money.
Really?
The sad part with children in today's society is it's all about money.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all the kids, don't misunderstand that.
No.
You know?
No. But that's the way they've been raised.
Yeah.
I remember once in the Dominican Republic, I always had 3 or 4 street kids. I mean, these kids were in the streets, abandoned, you know. But they would come to me to have something to eat. And then one day I had 3 or 4 of them come. I don't remember how many. And I literally didn't have a grain of rice in the house. I didn't have anything. So I told them, I said, you know, I always share with you, but today I don't have anything. But let's pray. So we all got down on our knees and we started praying. 5 minutes later, somebody knocked at the door, the one and only time this happened, with a big tray of food for all of us. And so brought it in, said, just return the tray when you're done. And so one of the kids said, "Oh my goodness, this really works," he said.
It sure does. And when
you have that faith and that love,
and that's all you gotta have.
that's all you need.
Right. I've seen it all. I haven't seen it all, no. But I'll tell you what, if I didn't have my spiritual faith in you the same way, Mary, and I know you and the people out there, I lost my tongue, okay. If we didn't have that spiritual faith, what would we have?
And I've never been let down.
No.
I've always had something to, maybe just a grapefruit,
Right.
but always something.
Yeah, that's that to me. I maybe don't have much, but there's always something I can put together, no matter what it is. I can put it together.
And even today, I may not always have a whole lot, but you know what? The higher power, God as you call him, I call him the universal spirit, and
You gotta
it always
remember.
provides.
Mhm.
Like our friends out here who are very humble,
Mhm.
and they're camera shy, but we'll just say hi to them anyway, But if you folks, when Bishop Paul come in, and he had literally nothing when you came here back to the States, right?
That's right.
Okay. Except the one thing, the belief in the Spirit. Am I right?
I never doubted for an instant that everything would open up the way it was supposed to. And it did.
Yeah. And you were a book translator, right?
Yes, I've translated books. Yeah,
Okay. You speak how many languages?
4.
Four.
I
I'm
I
lucky
can,
like you speak one.
I can, I can read several other languages,
Yeah.
but 4 I speak. Yeah,
Wow. How about you?
I even speak some English.
Do you speak English?
I speak some.
Oh, all right. Well, I still have trouble with that English.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But see, you were already anointed to do what you're doing, if I may, what you're doing now. You knew when you came here to the present life that you were going to be following the spirit of your God, or whomever you wish to call him. Because you also, in your past life, you're just carrying on the work that you did in your past life. Only you were a renegade.
A renegade.
Yeah, and, you would even
A scoundrel.
Today, right? Even today, you don't really conform. You do your own. I mean, you have certain rules you have to follow, but you kind of make up your own mind.
Well, there are certain rules, of course, we have to follow. I mean, there are
Right.
social rules and legal rules and spiritual rules too. But when we begin, for example, to really embrace the gospel, for example,
Right.
is that many people, again, I'm not saying all, but many people, they'll read the gospel, they'll know the words, that he can even throw the words at you if they want to use it as a weapon. But to really go deep down and penetrate into the basic meaning of what these teachings are, not that many people do it. And when you do, you become free. And it's not that you feel you can just break all the rules and everything, but you're not really all that bound by them, because you're being called to higher laws. And so because of that, you have to be careful to respect other people.
Oh, you do?
Well, I do.
Well, I didn't know we were supposed to do that.
No.
Oh,
Listen to him.
well, I better.
You got your lesson coming.
See, we learn something new every day.
Hey.
And because of that, then we see things very, very differently. I'll give you an example. But you don't mind, but I'll give you an
Of
example.
course not. It's your show now.
Okay. I knew a young woman, very pretty young woman, about 25, but she was an addict, heroin addict. She'd been in and out of rehab, but she was always ending up with some elderly man who would pay her so she could have money for her drugs. And one Christmas, she came to her family. The family was all there celebrating Christmas. And she just ruined their Christmas, vomiting on the carpets and relieving herself in the bed and screaming and shouting. She poisoned their Christmas. And I can honestly say, at first, I felt a kind of, judgmental spirit towards her. I confess, I did feel that, toward. And then I meditated and I prayed and I said, look, God is within all of us. Our Lord is within all of us. And he adopts our suffering. He is in that woman too. in her darkness and in her suffering, and he's suffering along with her. And when I realized that, I realized, how can you judge? You must love the Jesus in her, in that darkness, and pray to him for her. And so it completely changed my way of looking at people, even people who have ugly habits, you know. And so I began to have a great compassion for them and to love her, and love her.
I've had to learn not to be judgmental. You know, I really have, because there are times when I find myself judging of others, and then I have to, who am I to judge?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? Then I got I have a very dear friend of mine who always tells me, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Oh. And you know what? When you look in the mirror and you see the reflection of you, like you said, who am I to judge of others? I mean, I know I'm beautiful. You know, just
But that's not a judgment, you see.
I'm sorry?
That's not a judgment.
Oh, that's just conceit.
It's like one time there was this woman who went to confession, and she says, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. She says, I looked into the mirror and found myself beautiful. So the priest said, well, that's not a sin. It's an illusion.
Oh, well, I'm going to remember that one. But, you know, the good part about it, you have to have an ego. Not a big, but an ego or self-confidence in order, like, for what you do. You're pretty confident in the work that you do.
Well, there are different kinds of
Right.
ego and different levels of ego.
Oh, yeah.
You know, our true ego is supposed to be a high instrument for us to function on a higher level. Ego is when we think of everything just for ourselves.
Oh, that's me.
Oh no, oh, no, it isn't. But the true ego is the self, the true self, and that's the level where God or the Spirit dwells within us. So the ego can be purified, but never destroyed.
Right. Well, that's why I had to get that wake-up call when I started my TV show, because, like I was saying to you, and I had to have that awakening.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, we all do.
Yeah,
We
you
all
know.
do.
And, you know, I love what I do today.
I know.
I think you have to love what you're doing today. You
Yes, yes.
You know what, you like what you're doing today. Who
Yeah,
would have
I
ever
do.
thought,
I
you
know.
know, 30 years ago.
Yeah, I have to thank you for that.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, he's
yeah.
the one that got you said, oh, come on, Mary, come on my show.
Yeah.
I went a few times. And then that day he said, go ahead, try it.
Yeah. Isn't it great?
And that
You
opened
know,
up for you.
It opened
Yeah.
it.
And you know what? I
I'm
have
at
a feeling that because you look forward to it,
Yeah.
you're not half as sick as you were a couple
Yeah.
years ago. You know,
Yeah.
and I think that too, because I look forward to coming doing my TV show.
Mhm.
You know, like having special guests like you, which we're very honored to have. Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm honored to be here.
I'm very honored.
I also look forward to every guest that I have. I love having children come on. I really do. I know how a
But
lot.
we really must love what we're doing.
Right.
It's like I've just opened the new monastery, and I don't have fellow monks with me yet. They'll come. I know they'll come. I don't hope they'll come. I know they'll come.
There you go.
And sometimes someone will ask me, you must find it very hard being there all alone. And I said, I'm never alone. I'm never alone.
See, people that don't understand what the Spirit's all about, like you have your babies, and they let you know. She has a cat that actually talks to her,
I do.
Mm-hmm.
and she loves to watch my show.
Yeah. I have a white
Yeah.
Burmese.
Yeah.
She's pure white. And when Ed call, and if I'm on the phone, she has to say hello.
Oh, my goodness.
So that day I'm on the phone with Norma, and she comes over to the phone and puts her paw on it, and she pulls it down, and she says, hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
And she'll
Yeah.
sit there and watch the show.
Yep.
My dog knows when it's time for me to come home.
Mm.
Right, so I
Yeah.
have to before it started coming on the show. She would make him wait outside for me to get home.
Okay.
This month, Scott and I are celebrating 22 years of being together.
Oh.
And no, folks, we're not legally married, nor do I have any intentions of doing that. We are spiritually connected,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is, I think, it means more than the so-called other marriage, you know. And then I have, and throughout my journey as you, I have met some of the most beautiful people, like Lorraine and Dave Dewey. They're awesome people. I guess I'm corrected, Dave and Lorraine Dewey. Isn't that the old-fashioned way of saying
That's
it?
the
I always put the
old-fashioned.
man way.
Right, right.
And, Lorraine, come and just wave. Then you can go back to sit out.
But this all started from the very beginning.
Yeah.
This putting the man
You
forward.
got to turn around.
There you go.
Just the
There
way
you go. There you go.
There you go. There, come up and say hi. Then sit back down.
But this started from the very, very beginning. Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Yes.
Already, the serpent came and tempted them, and
There you go.
they fell.
True friends.
And so then our Lord came and said, Adam, what did you do? We said, it's not my fault. He said, it's the woman who made me do it, the woman you gave me. So then he says, Eve, men started blaming women from the first,
Right.
from the very beginning. Then he said, Eve, what did you do? It's not my fault. She says, the serpent made me do it. So then our Lord turned to the serpent and said, what did you do? I was just doing my job.
And the one thing that you don't have to call him God, you can call him you can call him any name you want. Okay. But the main thing you have to do is allow the Spirit to work within you. Okay, what do they call him? What is it? There's so many names they call him. Abba, all these different names. But you know what? And all manifests into one word. Okay, that's like I've been to the Baha'i faith. I've studied Buddhism. I've studied all kinds of different religions and all that. But you know what I do? I take all of that knowledge and I put it into a little packet up here. Not a big brain, but it's getting there, But then I work with it. Let's say like when I used to go to AA, I take a lot of the words that they have from AA, and I actually try to practice a lot of them. Easy does it. The biggest thing I have to remember is judgmental. Do not judge, because they tell you that, So my biggest part is I try not to judge others. But if you judge others, expect to be judged.
Yeah, well, that's very important. There was an old priest years ago, and he was dying. But his life was so-so. I mean, he didn't pray that much, and he didn't give that much of a good example. And so he had about a week left to live. And his superior came to him. He said, I'd be worried if I were you. He said, you're going to appear before God pretty soon. And he says, you weren't really an example. I'm not worried. Well, how can you say that, I'm not worried? He says, our Lord says that he forgives us our trespasses as we forgive others. I've always forgiven those who have offended me. So he's obliged to forgive me. So I'm not worried. And he was right. We've got to forgive everybody. And not judge, as you say.
And it's so easy to judge.
I'm smelling toast. I don't know why it's so strong.
You're smelling toast?
I'm smelling toast. Oh my goodness. It's just like someone is cooking toast right here.
Maybe they're preparing lunch for us.
Maybe. Well, be ready when we get home. Did your mother used to make toast on a whole grill stove, an old-fashioned stove?
Yep.
None of the toast would be on
No,
the stove.
right on the stove where it was flat.
That's her son, but
And
she's with you.
you put wood on
Yeah,
one side,
yeah.
and that's how we had our toast.
Isn't it good that way?
Oh my God, it was so good that way.
But that's her let you know she's with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can smell it, so it's so strong. I'm going, who's cooking toast around here?
Who made meat pie? French meat pie. You make German meat pie? Yeah. Did your grandmother? Okay, good. They're really
the French,
impressive.
yeah.
The French.
Yeah.
One thing I know, Father, you got St. Anthony. They're telling me to tell you that he is very strong and he's very proud of your beliefs.
St. Anthony.
Yeah. And also St. Andrew, you're going to read something. What is your favorite passage?
From Scripture?
Yeah.
Let they be one. Jesus is speaking to the
Right.
Father and speaking about his disciples. May they be one as you, Father, and I are one. They in me and me in you. Because we become part of God. The St. Paul speaks of the mystical body of Christ. Christ is the head and we are the we are part of God. And that's why I love that particular passage.
Well, doesn't the Bible, we are made in the image of God?
Yeah.
This is the way
Image and likeness.
Right.
We've lost the likeness,
Yeah.
and we've got to retrieve that likeness, but the image is still there.
That's why I have a hard time, and I'm not judging them, nor will I. It's not up to me. But when I see people that want to have sex changes or when they want to do all this and that, and when you stop and think we are made in the image or likeness of God, then you're changing the way God made you to come here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I have a problem with. I'm not, you know what? I'm not condemning you folks. If you choose to do this, is that your choice? Who am I to say you're wrong? Who am I to say, you know? When I don't like it when I see young children being forced to make themselves think that they are going to have, you know, that they need to have a sex change.
Mm-hmm.
It breaks my heart,
Mm-hmm.
you know. If they're 17, 18 years old, that's up to them, but not before that,
No.
you know. And, you know, when the one thing I will say is our country and the universe itself, the world, that our country, especially in California, and I see it hitting Alabama, it's going to go into Mississippi, and it's going to go around Baltimore or Maryland. Believe me, folks, we've got a lot more devastation. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
You mean things like the California
Like
fires
the California
and stuff?
fires. I'm actually seeing another eruption from the volcano that was it St. Helena's, was it St. Helens?
St. Helens, yeah.
Okay.
Helena, yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's going to be worse than ever.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And the one now that was in Colorado. Where was that St. Helens? Where's that?
Oregon or Washington State?
Was it
It's in the
Washington State?
northwest.
Well, anyways, okay. But then the one that's by the Yellowstone Park.
That one, they say, can be worldwide
Then
devastation.
it's going to be. Can I look at it? No. No, I'm not having a seizure, folks. Just showing action, you know. But if you have any questions for Bishop Paul, give us a call at 640-3091, and he'll be happy to talk to you and explain the things. Or if you want to give me a call, whatever, you know, we're here to help to serve mankind.
Mm-hmm.
You know. I actually see you go, I don't know. You ever been to New Guinea?
No.
I don't know why that's coming to mind, but you're going.
New Guinea? My goodness.
Where is that?
It's in the Pacific Ocean.
Okay. And you're going to New Guinea for some reason, some island there. You're going to meet a lot of new people. Believe me, your traveling days are just beginning.
I don't know why. You know, I'm 76, and people, when they start reaching that age, they figure it's time to retire. The older I get, the busier I am.
But don't you
That's
enjoy
good.
it better?
I do.
You know, like, I'm 37 with a 45-year-old son.
Already 37.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But don't you, I feel better now than I have in many, many years.
Hmm.
I love what I do. You love what you do. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do alcohol, you know. And I have some beautiful, positive energy friends.
Mm-hmm.
When I get discouraged, I can call Mary, I can call my friend Lorraine, and boy, help me, I ain't going through some bad times or whatever. and it's less because we can communicate with each other. If she's down, we can talk with each other or whatever. And I also will tell you that there's a lot of healing coming into your body. The pain that you're going through, you have fibromyalgia.
That I didn't know.
That's why you have so much pain in your spine and into your neck and down towards your feet area, plus the arthritis.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know this. There's going to come a time very shortly you're going to feel one of the most incredible hot, it's like a woman having hot flashes. I don't know how that is, but I don't want to know either. But you're gonna. He is President Bishop by the same way, but your feet are gonna feel like they're really on fire.
Uh-huh.
And what's happening is the bones in your feet and towards the tissues are really melting.
Hmm.
Okay, and what it's doing is healing your feet and your ankles, especially in your ankles.
Hmm.
And you're going to feel this really, of course, you're cold-blooded, okay? You know, and you're going to feel like an iceberg going through your feet. What it's doing is all that melted stuff that's taking all that negative energy out and it's refilling it and making it stronger for you to walk better. And I'm not going to say you're going to be 100% because that's garbage, but I will tell you you'll be like 98%.
Oh, well, that's a good rating, huh?
You agree with that, Dave? That's right. My friend Dave, who's hiding in the closet, is also psychic. They also have their own, what's it called, 3 sharks?
Great shark.
A gray sharks, okay. They live in the Bahamas, they do readings over there, they do readings everywhere. And with Father Paul, you want to tell them how we met?
Well,
You don't have to go into great detail.
no, but we did meet under unusual circumstances. I had come back from the Dominican Republic, and we had a friend, in fact, a mutual friend actually, who had moved into Manchester, but wanted to move into a better place. And so she phoned me. I was in Boston at the time, and she said, "Would you help me move my furniture?" I said, "Sure. I'll take the bus up to Manchester. You come pick me up." And while we were driving to her apartment, she received a phone call from you,
Right.
from Norm. Now, you had never heard of me, you had never seen me or anything, and you told her over the phone to bring me over, you wanted to meet me. And so, but I didn't know what was going on over the phone.
Right.
And she says, no, I can't. And finally, when she said, no, he's come here to help me move, I realized, talking about me. Then she covered her phone like that, and she says, "There's a clairvoyant who wants to meet you." When he said clairvoyant, is no way. She came to your house. And I was in my habit like that. And I don't know if you had ever seen a monk before.
No?
But you were looking at me head to foot, foot to head, head
what
to
the hell
foot.
is going on?
I said, "What is this?" Then the first thing you told me, "You're going to teach at Harvard." I said, "Oh my God, get out the violins. Here we go." Our clairvoyant is starting to tell stories like that. I said, "I'm going to teach at Harvard." I said, "I couldn't even study at Harvard, let alone teach there." He said, "Yeah. And not only that, they're going to invite you. You're not going to apply to them." So I just discounted it as a fairy tale, And I had brought some photos from the Dominican Republic to show this mutual friend who had been there. So I said, now I'm going to catch him. Now I'm really going to catch him. So I took out one of 3 street kids, but the photo was mid-chest to just above the head. It was horizontal.
Yeah.
It wasn't the full body.
Right.
So I said, "Well, what do you think of these boys?" "Oh, they're street kids," which they were. He said, "They're brothers, but different fathers, so they didn't resemble one another." And he said, "The first one is going to die very soon." I thought, again, in the future, how can I know if that's true or not true? When, in fact, he was shot dead by the police 2 months later, exactly like you said. So the one in the middle, he's in jail, which he was. He says, for stealing, which he was. He said, he'll be in and out 2 or 3 more times, but don't give up on him. Something can be done with him. And in fact, he did turn out all right. The one to the right had been shot by the police in the leg, and his leg curled up. But you can't see that in the photo because the photo's like this. And his sister phoned me and said, the surgeon said for $500 they can operate. He'll limp, but he'll be able to walk. His leg won't be all curled up. But then I know all these people were into drugs, and I said, if I send money over there, it'll be literally go up in smoke over the weekend. So I said, well, what do you think of the last one? He says, he really loves you more than his own parents. You've been so good to him. You've never humiliated him. You've been kind to him, fed him and clothed him and so on. He said, but what's wrong with his leg? Now, he doesn't see the leg in the photo. He said, it's curled up. And then he said, but for not too much money, surgery can be done on him. And but don't send the money there because they'll all smoke it over the week. Word for word, almost exactly what I was thinking. And that was exactly what happened. Then I realized, oh my goodness, he's not playing violins here.
No. Only once in a while. How is that young man doing?
He's doing all right. Yeah, he's
not doing drugs anymore.
I don't think so. No, I think
He really, since he had that operation, he's really turned his life around. One thing I will tell you is you will check up on him. Is that I'm sensing that he's gone back to school.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
I'm actually seeing him teaching how to become a spiritual leader.
Oh, my goodness, that would be wonderful.
The one that was in the middle there, who's also in and out of jail, he is really a blessing, but he hasn't got much longer to be here.
Oh, really? Yeah.
The disease or whatever he had
Yeah.
really caught up with him, and the abuse that he took sexually. And the sad part is, it was white American people,
They were what?
white Americans that took advantage of these young people.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and you know.
Well, there are programs. People from Canada,
Yeah.
from Germany, from the United States, they can rent certain hotels in northern Dominican Republic. They get all their food, access to a private beach. They get their rooms. They get taken around traveling like that, and according to their choice, a young man or a young woman at their. And I think this is so tragic because some of these people are so poor that they have to do that to bring some rice and beans back home for their mother and brothers and sisters. To take advantage of that poverty.
Yeah. So you see, folks, you think you get them out here, that's why they're leaving these countries. But come here legally, and we'll welcome you in open arms. The sad part is, these children have been hurt for the rest of their lives mentally.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's all they know. That's all they
You're right.
know.
You're right.
And they don't live a very long age, do they?
Very rarely. No, people. You get the odd one who will live a longer life. But when I meet a street kid, for example, I can assume, and I haven't been wrong so far, that they've got 3 to 5 years left to live.
There's a lot of voodoo and witchcraft over there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
You've had to combat a lot of it.
Well, see, coming from America, I didn't have any experience with those things. I mean, I knew it existed, but I'd never seen things like that, you know. And then, when I had gone, this was in the French West Indies. I had only been there a week or two. A man came up to me and says, "Will you heal me?" I said, "I can pray for you, but..." I said, "What's wrong?" So he lifted up his pant leg, and his leg was like that, as if like elephantitis or something. I said, "Oh, you'd better see a doctor because you can lose your leg." So he says, No, someone cast a spell on me." Well, I didn't know much about that stuff. I said, "Well, I'll bless you and pray over you, but promise me you'll go to see a doctor tomorrow." Okay. He said. He came back the next day, and I thought he was going to come and tell me he went to see the doctor. Lifted up his pant leg, it was completely healed overnight. And then I realized, oh my goodness, there is power in the Spirit. There is real power in the Spirit.
And then the sad part is all through, and it's here now.
Mm-hmm.
But the sad part with the voodoo and with the witchcraft, it is really phenomenal, and we got to really treat it back. And where my friend David Lorraine, is it pretty strong over there as well?
Not as much as it was decades back.
I'll take 5 minutes to sit up here and tell about it. I knew I'd get him up here one way or the other.
Do you want me to give him my chair?
Oh no, he's got. No, there's a chair right there.
Ah, okay.
I think what I would like to share with you is that shortly after we moved to the Bahamas, I hired a man to do a little bit of work in our garden. It turned out he was a Haitian who was living in the Bahamas, and he had a very interesting history. He was very surprised, by the way, to hear that I was interested in his spiritual life. But it turned out that this man had been a voodoo priest in Haiti, but he had converted to Catholicism. And
That's a
then
big word.
later, for whatever reason, he left the Catholic Church and became a Baptist, and he's presently a Baptist minister with his own congregation in Miami.
Yeah.
But during the course of his working in the garden, I would sit and talk to him, and he would tell me about some of the practices in Haiti. And let me tell you, that the voodoo religion that he described was absolutely nothing like I would have imagined. Very rich belief system. Very rich. I don't pretend to be any kind of an expert, but it was a fascinating belief system, and nowhere near as evil as it's portrayed in some
Well, there's a lot of good
things.
voodoo, and there's a lot of, just like with Ouija boards, there's a lot of good Ouija board members, and there's a lot of, everything that you do, like people used to tell me tarot cards were very evil. But, anything that we do can be negative or positive.
See, with the voodoo, there are actually 3 different levels of voodoo. There's the lower level, which is just using energies and plants and things, and for healings and doing good things with it. And they call that voodoo, but it's not the voodoo we hear about. Then there's sort of a mid-level voodoo where they will do some good things and some bad things too, but it's not all that powerful. But then on the highest level, it becomes very, very negative and dangerous. And they can even take people's lives through that. So, like you say, it's a rich system, but it's very varied.
It is.
And we generalize. People only talk about the worst level.
Right.
But at that worst level, I've seen so many cases where I've had to exorcise people. Incredible circumstance, but I'll let you talk.
Father, you would be far more knowledgeable than I, but what I do remember being told by this fellow was that his belief when he was within the voodoo faith was that they were given certain power, certain capabilities, and that it was as if they were being tested to see whether they could resist the temptation to use them for good or evil. And it reminds me very much of the concept that there's good and evil in everything
In everything.
in the world.
You take a knife.
Yes,
I can slice bread to share a
Look at the
meal
camera,
with you,
folks.
or I can kill you
Hey.
with it.
exactly,
Huh?
Look at the camera.
exactly.
Oh,
So,
you're talking. No,
and
stay
it's
right there.
It's the same instrument. It's the same instrument.
Yep.
In all energies, they can be used for the good or for the bad.
It was described to me at one point that everything in the world has an equal measure of shadow and gold. And we have the choice to gravitate towards the shadow or the gold. And I suspect, and certainly you would be far more knowledgeable than I, but I would suspect that that's part of God's process for determining where we are in our spiritual progression.
Yeah, we can give an example of that. For example, we know the story of Jesus and how he was arrested and scourged and crucified. He had been abandoned by all his apostles when he was arrested, except for St. John.
Right.
All the apostles abandoned him. Judas sold him out to the priests.
Yep.
And but the others had betrayed. Even Peter had denied him 3 times. He was just as guilty as Judas was. But what was the difference is that he began to weep for his sin and to plead for forgiveness and to overcome that. Whereas Judas despaired and hung himself. They both committed equal sin. But if Judas had been humbled and prayed and asked for forgiveness, he'd be Saint Judas today.
Absolutely.
That's why we can go either way.
Yes.
Either way we can
Yes.
go. Yeah. That's how I see it, We have a choice. We have a choice.
Yep. Be sure to
We-
either go to your right or go to your left.
We're never obliged to be bad or obliged to be good. It's a choice that we make.
Yes.
We choose, our lives are what we have chosen. It may be within certain parameters. I mean, maybe you're not a millionaire,
Right.
or maybe you're not driving, I don't know, a Ferrari or something like that. But within what you have, you can truly be who you are. It's not what you have that makes you who you are.
I'm reminded of your description of the higher level of voodoo, which can be used for such awful purposes. I strongly suspect that those very same skills could also be used for a very high level of healing. And depending on the...
Because you're dealing with energies.
Exactly. The very same energies used with varying integrity.
If you use those energies along diabolical lines and invoking the devil, you're going to get those results.
Exactly.
If you use those same energies and invoking the Holy Spirit, you'll get those energies.
Yes.
That will,
Yes. Yes.
it's, people don't, people think,
Think of it a pretty good show.
there's an,
Huh?
Think of it a pretty good show.
Yes.
I don't want to tell David that, though.
tell him what? Tell him
And this
what?
is becoming a pretty good show.
Oh, but it's like what you often say, you know, people should get off the pity pot.
Oh, yeah.
Get off the pity pot no matter what deal, the cards that life has given you. You can always do something very positive. I knew a man,
Absolutely.
I didn't know him actually, I heard about him. He had an illness, I'm not sure what it is, but they had to cut him off part by part. He was rotting, till finally he had no arms left and no legs left. He was joyful, and people would come to him and, you know, they complain, oh, I get headaches and so forth. And here he is without arms and legs, always smiling and laughing. He said, and finally what they did is they put him in a basket, so it was easier to raise up and level up. He said, I'm a basket case.
That was cute.
So you can take life any way you want.
You can stay on that pity pot and feel sorry for yourself. I actually had a woman send me an email, and actually said it on TV, that there's no word in the dictionary called pity pot. I said, so I make up my own words. But it's true. You
Yeah.
can sit there in a pity pot and sink yourself into a lower level, or you can bring it all out.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Bishop Paul Dupree from Virginia, and with my friend Dave. Oh, I forgot his last name.
I know. He did good.
Dewey, there we go.
Dewey.
Dave Dewey, there we go. His wife is hiding in the
What's his
background.
name?
He invented
Yeah,
the
what's his
Dewey
name?
Decimal System.
Right, there you go.
Actually, that was my great uncle.
And
Uh-huh.
if you have any questions for Dave or Bishop Paul or myself or even Mary, oh goodness, please give us a call. The number's here somewhere. Oh yeah,
640-3091.
there you go. See,
I
that's
know
why I
that
have a
number,
phone.
then I
Yeah.
better than I know my own.
And you know, the one thing I find interesting, people talk about pagan and how evil it is and all that. You know, anything can be evil if you want it to be. Driving down a car could be evil.
Mhm.
I almost got hit, by the way, today, didn't I?
You
Mary?
did. I'm going, oh my God, she's going to
Today?
hit Norm.
Yeah, when I opened the door for you to get in,
Yeah.
the car went right by me and I thought it was going to hit me.
Oh my goodness.
Never
Yeah.
slowed down.
No, they don't. That's the trouble. Manchester, your small streets are not drag streets. I've always been amazed that there has to be spirits watching that park and watching when the kids, because they don't look when they cross. And adults are the same way.
And there are a lot of children, and
Yeah.
there's the park
And
right
they,
there.
and the driver thinks that they, you know, like I'll be taking my dog across the street and they'll go around this way, and then I just say, "Hail Mary, full of grace, forgive me if I punch him in the window," you know, you know. But everything that we do, overeating can be considered, you know, whatever you want to do, drinking or whatever. You know what? Do whatever you want to do with your life, but as long as you don't harm somebody else. But you shouldn't you shouldn't harm your own body because that's sacred.
But it does harm other people.
Yeah.
Because, like the commandment says, you know, love the Lord your God with your whole heart, your whole soul, your whole spirit, and your neighbor as
Oh,
yourself.
we got in and call. Hello, Norm's Community Corner. Hello.
Hello?
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 Hello? How can we help you?
Hi, I'm calling about the Norm show.
Yeah? This is it.
Okay, awesome. So I really wanted to touch base and speak on something that was brought up, and I tuned in late, and I apologize, but it was talking about the apostles and Jesus, and you know how some of the apostles had committed heinous acts, as Judas did towards Jesus, and it was said that that Judas never asked for forgiveness, and it brought up something really deep within inside of me. that I just kind of wanted to share some insight on that I think is a much broader topic for many, many people. Sometimes we can ask for forgiveness without expecting to receive it, because, or I guess we can ask for forgiveness and not expect to receive it, and when we do receive it, sometimes we can't accept the forgiveness. So I believe that Judas did ask for forgiveness, but he himself did not accept the act that he had done.
Right.
He could not accept that forgiveness.
Right.
Well, I don't know, because the gospel says that our Lord commented about him, better that man had never been born. Because if he had asked forgiveness, he would have been forgiven.
Yeah. You still there?
I am, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard a noise here. Yeah. And having, keep on talking because we enjoy having comments.
Fantastic. I have this feeling that, Judas, without Judas, the Lord's destiny would not be fulfilled. The gospel says that all the apostles were destined and were chosen for their specific purpose. Now, I think that Judas, I know Judas is one that is always looked on with a sour look or a sour view, and I think it's really something that is very pivotal for growth and development within each one of us. It's kind of offering himself as somebody to learn from, as actually really probably one of the greatest teachers through what not to do versus what to do.
Well, I would say that even if Judas had not sold Christ to the enemies of Christ, they would have found a way of arresting him anyway, and he would have had a much better role to play in that whole thing. He chose to betray Christ. He was not obliged to betray Christ. He wasn't just an instrument. He was a willing instrument to do that. This is what he chose to do, because they specify that he was a great lover of money and that he used to steal from the common treasury and so forth. His heart went to the money. That's why he took the 30 pieces of silver. And today we have many Judases among the Christians. They love money. Money is their God. And so they end up in a different way doing the same thing he did. So, that's how I feel.
I guess I totally and 110% agree with you. I think that's fantastic. And I guess the way I'm looking at it is instead of a half-empty cup, but it's a half-full cup.
Right.
And I like to as...
I don't like half full or half empty. I like it full. Absolutely. But in light of Judas, it's almost as if to say, even an apostle is still a human who still can make mistakes. Even thou who, have all of this power and all of this ability and all of the world in their hands, sometimes that human piece, that greed, that envy, that jealousy, things of that nature, they can still be very present, and it's something that is still very real that can take over even the holiest of men or of people. Mm-hmm.
So I think that by him committing that act, it showed that even some of the holiest people in the world are still very human and still.
We all have clay feet, right?
I love these comments this gentleman's making.
Yeah, no,
I really do, because he puts it, and I really am thinking you and keep on talking. You're making us do a lot of thinking.
And he's very articulate.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I actually, Norm actually found me on Facebook and waved to me today for the first time. So I popped on and thought I could, as soon as you started talking, I just felt really driven to actually call in.
Oh, good. And this a gentleman from Somersworth?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is this a gentleman that was from Somersworth?
Yes.
Oh. Well, someday we'll have you come on my show. How's that?
Fantastic. That would be amazing.
I always look for new guests to come on.
Uh-huh.
And if I may tell you this, you've got a lot of beautiful changes coming around you. Stop holding yourself back.
Thank you.
Be the free bird that
Thank
you're destined to be.
Thank you. Yes, I'm working actively on that,
Okay.
on those cages as we speak, actually.
Right.
Maybe sometime off the air or whatnot,
Right,
I could
yeah.
share some of the work that I've been doing.
Yeah. One thing I do know
Maybe.
about you, you're going to become very well known throughout the universe.
Mm. I'm trying to. I'm doing my work and allowing whatever is to come to follow suit.
Yeah. Just don't hold yourself back so much. Go forward and be strong in your name and the spirit or within yourself. Because when you become a stronger person for you, then other people will say, wow, is that who that is that's talking like this? Because there are a lot of things that you say that may sound like it's way off in base, but actually it's a reality.
Mm.
Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to, don't worry. If I worried about what every other person said about me or I'd be off the wall or whatever, wow, I'd be in dismay. But a lot of times, whatever you do, don't stop beating yourself up so much.
Thank you. Yes. It's something that I think that I grow with, and I think we as a people, we're always our biggest critics, and always our biggest, the biggest roadblock that we have is overcoming ourselves.
That's right.
And
That's right. Because when you're perfect like I am, then you don't have to worry. Yeah. Well, I got a lot of laughs from these people. I'm only kidding. But when you learn that, any obstacle, your life has not been an easy stream, has it?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Your life has not been an easy stream. Everything you have, you worked very hard to have.
No, it has not been easy whatsoever.
And boy,
Not
you
even
know
a
what?
little bit.
Would you really want it any other way?
No, not at all.
No.
No.
Because when we say, oh, if I could do this or if I could do that, but then you know what? We wouldn't be where we are today.
You got that right. Be able to help all the kids that I've been able to go back and start helping, and make the difference that I'm making.
And that's the biggest thing in the world, that you can help others to help themselves. When we start doing that, then you know what? We're on the right path. And actually, when I'm helping other people, even though I am conceited, but that's okay. But when I start helping other people, it really is helping me as well. Don't you agree with that, Dave?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Because if you're not doing it, I'm going to help Joe Schmo or Barbara Adams or whatever, then you're not really helping them because you're forgetting how to help yourself as well.
Absolutely.
And like that too. Yeah. Okay, well, dude, I got to let you go. Keep watching us and give me a call later when I get home. I'll send you my phone number and then we can talk.
Fantastic. I appreciate your time and
Anytime.
and all of your open mind.
Thank you. And keep watching and come on the show. We'll have a lot of fun.
Fantastic. I look forward to it.
Okay. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
It's amazing, Bishop, that how the Spirit works.
Mm-hmm.
When we allow it. I find that when I try, don't you agree, Mary? When I try to do it on my own,
It doesn't work.
And then I forget, then it clogs up the toilet or whatever, But, like, a lot of the people that I met to come on my show, and I meet them through Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important for me to have Facebook. Or when I love doing charity work. I love my foundation, Healing Paws, NH. I love it. It's going to become very known. Then, once I get bored, I get bored.
You get bored.
Very easy with anything I do, like the charity works. My next goal is to start a dental project for people who can't afford to go to the dentist.
I thought you were going to say my next project is to found a monastery.
There you go. That's going to be another one. We can do that too. We can do a GoFundMe on that. I wouldn't bother me at all.
No.
Were you, Dave?
I was just pulling your leg. Yeah.
No. But my project, there are a lot of people, like Scott's gone through and there are a lot of people out there who cannot afford a dentist. It's like a dog going to a veterinarian. I know, actually, this is hilarious to say. If you don't have the money, you can't make payments. But if you don't have the money, oh, I don't know you. I can't have it to play with you until you get the money to pay it up, right?
How true.
You know.
How true.
And I see so many people that suffer. Like I had a very good friend of mine. His name was George. He passed away. His teeth would hurt him so bad. He literally took a pair of pliers and yanked them out.
Oh, my.
And he ended up having mouth cancer.
Oh, gosh.
When Jerry got cancer, he didn't have insurance, so they would give him moxicillin. See, so you should see me. I walked in there one day and I had a briefcase, a dead foam, and that didn't care. I walked into that room and I said, I want him taken care of now, or I'm calling my lawyer. And when I call my lawyer, you're not going to be happy with me. And that's when we found out he had cancer. By the time that was too late, you know. But it was time, you know, and never to actually. I want to throw something at both of you. Okay? Is it really too late to save someone when the Spirit says it is time for them to go?
What do you mean by save someone? Keep them
You know,
alive?
like keep them
you mean?
alive.
Or open their spirit?
Both. But I mean, by keeping them alive, are we doing the right thing by keeping them alive? And then when they say there's no cure, and all that, and yet it's time for them to go. Well, I'm a firm believer in telling them they can make that choice if they want to stay or go. But I also like to work on their spirit to make sure that they have no animosity when they leave.
I think we can let nature follow its course.
Right.
We don't have to keep people alive artificially for 5-10 years as they do sometimes. We should let them go.
And I'm a firm, you know, like I've gone in a different nursing home, and I said, well, how long's it he's been through with a GI tube, you know, feeding him, and he's like a vegetable or whatever. I hate to use the word, but you know,
Right.
why are we keeping this person alive to make the insurance, to make the nursing home money or whatever? Because we can't feel the pain that these people go through. I don't care. They can have the most experts in there watching a wave grade, but you really don't know what they're going through. Any comment, Dave?
I'm reminded of a dear friend of mine who passed quite recently in Canada. When she was 97, we had a conversation in which she hit me with the phrase, I wonder if God forgot me. It's a very profound question.
Yeah.
She died just before her 104th birthday. During those 7 years in between, she did a lot of wonderful work for a lot of people who benefited greatly from her efforts. Now, when she was nearing her 104th birthday, she was very healthy until one morning when she woke up and she was completely disoriented. She was nonverbal. She could not walk well. She had had a stroke. And it was very clear that the end was not far away. Lorraine and I traveled to Ottawa, the Ottawa area, and we helped care for this woman for, I don't remember, 3 or 4 weeks, Lorraine?
Well, almost 6 weeks.
Almost 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, I stand corrected. During that entire time, she wasn't able to speak coherently. Occasionally she would speak a sentence, but unfortunately, like you, she knew many languages. She knew 6 languages, and frequently she'd use all 6 of them in one sentence, so nobody knew what she was saying.
Probably wasn't very nice either.
But the intriguing part of it is that part of the gift that you know about that I have is that I am able to witness and sometimes assist with people in their passing, in their spirits crossing. Doc's spirit took a very long time to cross. She started the process very shortly after she became ill. She did some very profound work on the other side.
She wants to know if you got that book ready yet.
It's pretty close. It's
She
very
keeps
close.
saying that to her.
I know, but it's closer than ever.
Okay.
We're now at the point where all the component parts are done and we're putting the book together. And for the benefit of your audience, the book is about Doc's life. Doc started out in rural Lithuania in 1914, raised by a single mother with 9 children on a very, very remote rural farm with none of the amenities that a farmer today would be able to have to use to develop his farm. She went on to become a leader in the resistance to the fascist movement. Later, she was a resistance leader in the resistance to the Soviet occupation of Lithuania. She fled Lithuania. She came to Canada, founded a school for mildly disabled children, and saved many, many children from a life of sorrow. She was a really great woman,
So
and
that
this
school was for
book is her
disabled
story.
children?
I'm sorry?
So the school that she had was for disabled children?
For children who had specific disabilities. Most of the children she worked with were actually very brilliant, but they were unable to achieve very much scholastically or whatever because of specific disabilities and because of the experience Doc had had in Milan during the Second World War. She had abilities that most people don't have. She was able to work with those children.
See, I'm a firm
wonderful
believer
ways.
that no such thing as a disability that can't be overcome.
Exactly.
I've had people that come on the show, like last week did come in, or these people that with MS that have come on my show, or Parkinson, and I see these children and men and women that have autism. I had one that was blind that came and played the guitar and sang Jim. You know who Jim Reeves is, right? The country and western singer, right? And another one that played a fantastic guitar. You know, we all have, if you want to go that way, we all have some kind of a disability.
Yes.
I can't drive a nail in straight.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yes.
Nani, can you? Oh, yeah? Nani?
Oh, yeah.
I can't paint. My daughter-in-law said, get out of here, I'll do it. I got fired from the painting job. I had more on me than I did on the wall. You know, we all know. Like, what I do is a natural gift. You can take an earphone.
No, ain't mine.
That earphone?
I think so. I'll go get it.
Okay.
Shut it off.
Folks, we are here. He'll be right back. You got a phone call. We're here with Bishop Paul Dupree from Virginia. And now Dave, thank you for coming up here and sitting in here to talk. So, and then we have my friend Mary. And Mary, you have a TV show.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thanks to Norm,
Yeah.
I have one.
And what's it called?
Cruising with Mary. I'm on tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
In the morning?
No.
Oh.
Oh, God, no.
Actually, you're on it. What time is it? 2 o'clock in the morning? I watched
Yeah,
your show
I
one
am.
time.
Yeah,
So this is
I'm
what's
on
good about
different
our
hours.
show, Dave. This will show many times.
yeah.
I didn't
Okay.
know that.
Yeah, we go on. I'm on, I think like
Sunday
6:30
morning.
Sunday morning. I'm also on Sunday afternoon
Yeah.
at 4 o'clock.
Very
So one thing about the shows is it continually goes. And anybody that is interested in coming on the air,
It's fun, folks.
it is.
It's fun.
Yeah, you know, you don't
You'll
have
enjoy
to,
it.
you don't, like I like wearing a shirt and tie because that's who I am. But you can come in as you want when just dress respectably.
Yes. Oh,
Okay,
God, yes,
yeah,
please.
you know. Although I see some that,
Oh,
you know. But one thing that I am looking at, Dave, with Doc is she enjoyed her life.
She certainly did.
And
And she was profoundly grateful to God for the many opportunities he gave her and for the many times when she was in situations of great, great danger, where she had very little hope of coming out alive. And new people were put into her life at critical times by a kind and loving God. And she lived to be almost 104 years old.
but when you people that are out there protesting about this and you're protesting that, think about this beautiful lady. She wasn't very tall, was she?
No,
Like
Oh,
maybe
no.
5'5" at the most.
I don't think she was even that, maybe 5'2". Yeah.
With a big mouth.
Yep.
And she said, "You're welcome." And she said, "And here's a lady that never gave up the battle.
No.
Here's a lady that didn't go out. You didn't have to go out and burn buildings down.
Nope.
She didn't do all that. All she did was work to save people's life. She should be considered a saint."
She certainly should.
You know, our friend, your wife, said when she said she met Mother Teresa, I go, "Oh my God, you actually met her?" Come find out what a school teacher or whatever.
Yep.
A nun who's called Mother,
Right.
but who's a school
You know,
teacher.
But I actually, isn't Mother Teresa a saint now? Wasn't
Yes.
she classified now as a
Yeah.
saint? Yeah. And actually, she watches over everybody.
And she was pretty bold.
Oh, yeah?
One time the Pope, John Paul II, had her come to the Vatican. And he said, "Mother Teresa, what can I do to help you?" She says, "Give me the Vatican." He said, "What would you do with the Vatican?" "I'd bring in the poor," she said. But the courage to say something like that.
Oh, I can remember. Oh, yeah, you just didn't say that to in front of me. Even I was working at the Mount Carmel nursing home. And and there was this priest there who he was Monsignor, retired and all that. And he said, "You will bow to me." I said, "I will not." He said, "You will. I am a Monsignor." I said, "I'm not Catholic." And he said, "You will do what I said." So Mother Superior came up. She said, "Why aren't you doing this?" I said, "Why do I have to? If he's going to disrespect me, why should I have to show him respect?" And after that, he and I got along fantastically well. Because too many people and not just Monsignor, not just priests, but too many people who are high functioning lawyers have a lot of, they think that they are better than the next person.
And they're not. Some are
Nope.
even worse.
Well, didn't
What
Jesus
the-
walk into the life and wash the many of the poor people's feet?
Oh, yes.
You know, and when you start thinking that you're better than somebody else, and I've been through it, so I've lost everything out of it, you know, but I am much better now for what I've done. And when you think that you're better than somebody else, you know what? You're worse than they are. When you ask, that gentleman was very interesting, wasn't he? That called.
Very bright.
Yes, very
Very
bright.
intelligent.
I'm looking forward to having him come on my show, actually. This is what I love about our
Yeah.
show, don't you?
Yeah.
See, Mary has a lot of
Everybody
the
and
guests that I
everybody's
have
welcome.
on, right?
Yeah.
And Mary, if you need, how would they get a hold of you, Mary? If they want to
Oh,
come on
they
the
can
show?
get a hold of me on my house and leave me a message. If I don't get back to you, 782-5835. If you want to come on, just say who you are, and I'll always make some room somehow to have you on.
And you're also on Facebook.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And you can, what they call message on
Message,
Facebook.
yeah,
You can
text you,
message me on there
yeah,
too from
you know.
Facebook.
And if you're back up around, we'll make sure you stay for a couple of days. You can come on my show and her show. We'll make you very well known, see? You know. One thing I'm also, you guys are I'm excited. Oh my God, I'm getting very excited. There is a humongous check coming to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at 25,000, period 00.
Well, I can start building my chapel.
Do you see that, Dave?
Yeah, I do.
It may not come all at one time, but like half now, then half later. Or it could come in at one
The
time.
awareness is going to come all at once.
Send out that, but you really gotta ask for more than you have. Don't put a limit on your prayer and finances.
Right, you're right. I know what is necessary will come. It always has.
Right.
Because
Once
I've always
you put a
asked
limit
for
on it, that's just what you're gonna get. I learned that the hard way.
Right.
Okay. That you're gonna get whatever you deserve to get. You know, yes, I'm doing a quick reading on them. But anyway. Well, you know, I mean, what is he doing? Oh my God! Hey, I'm gonna go to hell now.
No, I certainly can use that kind of a donation, and that's how the monastery was built.
How do you like your new car?
Well, I'm glad to have it because the one I had would never have made it up to New Hampshire. That little one, and the one I have now is a 4-wheel drive, and so I'm up on a hill. So if it snows, I can't get up or get down with the other one. I kept breaking down, so this is much better for me.
There again, that's how the Spirit works.
And you know, it was very funny. When I came back, I had been away from the United States for 30 years, out on mission here and there. And when I came back, this was 18 years ago. When I came back, I saw one of the cars, a Toyota, and it said Forerunner. Now, this is what we call St. John the Baptist. St. John the Baptist, the Forerunner. And I said, isn't it wonderful? I said, they're calling cars after the saints now. Somebody said, no, it just means four-wheel drive. Don't get carried away.
Oh, what a disappointment, right? Well, I'm waiting for the day they call it Pat Norman, you know.
Well,
Norman,
that,
you know.
that can come.
But aren't we all saints in one way or another?
We have within us the capacity, by cooperating with what God wants to do with us, everyone should be a saint.
Well, I already am, you know. I baptized myself into that.
Well, I mean, some people have the calling sooner and some later, you know.
But this is why, you know, now one thing that I truly believe in is that as long as we can ask forgiveness from our higher power, I call it, and you know, I call it the universal spirit, and I do not know how to hold a grudge, nor do I want to. I had a resentment towards my real dad for many, many, many years. Then one day I got a wake-up call. My dad didn't put that alcohol in my hand. My dad didn't put me behind the wheel to drive when I was drunk, or to get married as many times as I got married, you know. My dad didn't do all this. I did it to myself.
Right.
I allowed it to happen. All these things that we do. And when I learned to let go, my very friend Bob Waddell and I went up to my hometown. I went to a pond over there. And I yelled, and I screamed, and I cried, and I let all that negative energy out. And you know what? I had to realize it wasn't the town. And a lot of the people that were there didn't even remember me. That broke my heart. You know, but I was holding this grudge or resentment needlessly.
Right.
Once I let go of that and turn it over to my higher power or the spiritual, universal spirit, then I was saying, hey, I'm on the road. I'm on the right road. I didn't have to say the words that sound needless. You know what I'm saying? When I started meaning what I say, I love helping people, just like you do and just like Dave does. You know, when I hold my hand out, I want $1,000. No. But when you really, truly...
How about 25,000?
I'll take that.
Is that what you said I was going to get?
Yeah.
How about 25,000?
There you go. Put it out to the spirit. You know, and then I realized how many, like, I'm having clients and women clients and other clients coming in that have been addicted to heroin or meth. My beautiful friend Dave, he crossed over from, he was stuck on meth. They claimed he had the HIV, and I know he didn't. But they had gave him so much of that medication that his body became in tune with it. And you know, I always remember when he crossed over, the last words he said to me, I love you, my best friend. And I had that here, so that means I must have done something right. And then I had another one that was on his way home to the other side, and I was talking to his wife, and he says, I'm leaving now. I'm going to Mom's house. No, you can't leave the hospital. No, wife would say, I go. And he says, no, I'm leaving. I want you to make sure that you give everything away. And then I took, she said, well, what do you want me to keep? I'm going on. And he said, I don't give a blank what you do with this stuff, you know? And I said, you better go see him. By the time you got there, he'd already passed. This is what I love.
Yeah.
This is we're able to communicate with people from the other side. Your dad doesn't understand what you're doing, by the way.
Oh, I'm not surprised. It's not important to me.
No, nor does your dad, but he respects what you're doing. And has a lot of honor and respect for you. Your dad was in the insurance business?
No, he worked in he was nursing in a mental hospital.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. I enjoy working with the disabled. You know, I want you there again. Bishop, when you go to your house, I'm sensing you. There's a white light shining down through right down through the roof. And there's something about, you don't have a very big kitchen, do you?
Not terribly, no.
But it's pretty convenient for you.
It is convenient for me.
And I'm seeing a lot of blessings. When you walk into your kitchen, now you're going to be getting anxious to want to get home. You know, but I'm seeing so much energy that's going into your kitchen. That all that energy that was there is going away. And that idiot who broke the pipe off in your water tank or your whatever, you know, karma has a way of taking care of that too. You see it, Dave?
I sure do. But I have to tell you, Father, shortly after you arrive home, there's going to be an occasion when you're walking into your kitchen and there's going to be something that's left on the floor that you weren't aware of on your right side. Be careful that you don't trip on it, because there's a very serious danger that you will fall and injure yourself right here.
Someone has tried to break in your house twice, but they can't get in. You know that song, keep on knocking, but you can't get in? You know. One thing I've also seen, and you do have someone, I don't know what's in Denmark.
I'm sorry?
You go into Denmark.
Denmark?
You know me, I get these and they actually happen, right?
I have no idea how or why
Or
or
it could
when.
be someone coming from Denmark to come and stay with you for a while.
Okay.
And something involved in Denmark.
Denmark. Yeah.
Okay. And you know, folks, these people that come over to this country, like the people that come from France that come to you, they don't have a problem getting here because everything is done legally.
Oh, yeah.
When you travel legally.
Sure.
Even if you do have that bosom little buddy there, when she's kind of cute and kind of trim, you know, slim-waisted there.
Me?
Yeah, you with that. But I also know you are going to a funeral at your monastery in France.
Oh.
You're going to be playing one of the major roles. And you're ready for it.
I sure hope it's not our primate.
We're not going to be helped, are we?
No, but I mean,
But it is.
the only way I can
Yeah,
alter
but it
that
is,
is through prayer.
Yeah, well, it is. He has a lot of sickness around him. Very strong, very powerful. Is he like in his 80s?
No, he's in his very late 60s, but he's had terrible cancer and he's
And
gone
it's come
through
back.
chemotherapy.
Yeah, I think chemo ruins it more than it heals it.
Hmm.
But I'm not a doctor, folks. This is just my opinion, you know. But how is Father Francis doing?
I don't know. I haven't heard from him for a year and a half or so.
Because I'm looking at him slowly.
In fact, I'm even wondering if he's still.
And I see his spirit has left the body.
It has, yeah.
He has to make a lot of amends for what he's done.
I've been thinking of maybe trying to phone him, but because usually he used to call regularly, but now a year and a half or so, nothing. He had told me he wanted to come to spend a week or so at the monastery, and then that was it. I never heard from him again.
I don't think health-wise that he can handle it.
Hmm.
And you're not his babysitter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, one other thing I'm also looking at, I see you, Dave, I actually see you and Lorraine visiting at his monastery.
I got that when we were at your house before we came here.
I think you would really be blessed.
I think you're right on. I don't think it's going to be in the immediate future.
Oh, no, in a couple of years. Lorraine can do all the cooking. You like to cook?
Is she a good cook?
She didn't used to be, but she's become a good cook.
Oh, you taught her well.
No, I think she figured out a way to put a smile on my face.
And can't you tell by his belly? There you go. He's got one of those rolling bellies.
I did not have that belly before she learned how to cook.
Yeah, see?
Well, you see.
Maybe
I'm
she
just
should
thinking
unlearn that.
My cardiologist would like that.
You don't like your belly?
My cardiologist says I have to get rid of it. I don't think it's going to happen.
You know what? If we got rid of everything the doctors tell us to get rid of, what a sad shit would
Need a
be.
hole in the donut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know. And
My
By the
mother
way-
used to make donuts
Oh, yeah?
when I was a boy, and I always thought she'd cut out the centerpiece and
Yeah,
fry
yeah,
that at
yeah.
the same time. I always thought that tasted better than the donut.
oh, I agree. Well, that's
Yeah,
my next
yeah.
project, making donuts.
Making donuts. But I mean, children think all
Yeah.
kinds of things. And I really thought they tasted better.
I agree. You know, I truly. My mother used to make homemade donuts with the old iron skillet, on a wood stove, and I tried to make homemade donuts with that. I didn't have Went on electric stove, it's still not the same.
No, no.
I was in North Carolina visiting our son and his wife and their kids, and they took us to what they considered to be a very special place. It was a shop where you could go in and order exactly the donut you wanted,
Okay.
with the ingredients you wanted and the topping you wanted and so on. And then they would take your order, you'd pay for the donuts, and then you'd go down this long corridor, one wall of which was all glass. And you could watch your donuts being made.
Okay.
Well, the problem for me was that from the moment the order was handed in, everything was mechanized.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
I don't think human hands touched that donut until it had come out and was ready to be put into the paper, to be handed to the customer. And I'm sorry, I was so disappointed. I expected to see an artisan at work, and it just didn't happen. Everything was push buttons. Watch this thing go down what was basically a donut assembly line.
Donut assembly
Very
line.
sad.
Yeah.
Very sad.
And then, you know, I watch a lot of, have you ever a lot of the Undercover Boss?
No.
And
I
Oh,
know of
that's-
it.
I like that.
yeah, you like that too?
Yeah.
And the things that they do in there, everything is like you just said, mechanical.
Mm.
You know, like you go to the warehouses and like if you want to make some kind of a Mexican dish, they all come down to the on this big conveyor belt or the soda. Nobody does anything handmade now.
Right.
But I'm learning. We're gonna get another pasta maker. We're gonna make our own donuts. We use everything. You know, we have a bread maker now, and I just feel better.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and so everything is going to be, you know, and you feel better. And plus, you know, it gives us something to do.
That's true.
You know, that way I don't have to. Because I don't want to sit in front of my TV all day long. It gets boring after. Oh, I fall asleep the minute I start watching TV. You know, and then if my dog just actually goes out and wants to go out, she don't do it. You just feel her energy. Get me out. I want to go. Time to go out. You know, stuff like that. But if we could bring ourselves, like Mary makes the best baked beans. You sold them all, didn't you? You know.
Yep.
Mary makes the best baked beans.
They
in
don't
our
last
town,
long.
you know? And we can all. There's nothing in the rule book that says you have to follow your cooking exactly the way the recipe says.
Thank God.
No, the
Be a
real,
very dull life.
yeah, real cooks are very inventive. Right?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. They don't measure or weigh.
Oh, no,
Scott
take a
does.
little bit of that and a little bit of that.
Oh,
mix
and
it
that's
up.
how I learned it from my mother. A little dibby do of that. And a little,
Yeah.
And I never tried putting this in it before. Let's see what happens.
Now hit the table. Then you'll see what happens. But you know, I can never remember.
Then you
Yeah.
discover new flavors.
Exactly. And sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's not. And when it's not, you don't do it again.
That's right.
Just like life.
Just like life.
And hey, I never thought of it that way. But that's true, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we can
My
like.
mother never measured anything.
No, my
Never.
mother never did. Always a
No.
dibby dab of that,
Yeah,
a
let's-
handful of this, a handful of that. We survived.
Yeah.
Nothing's any better than a wood stove
Oh, my
cooking
God, yes.
baking bread or pies.
My grandmother did that. Her breads were delicious. They always never came out quite the same, but every time it was good. One time she made a custard pie, put it in the oven. We still can't figure out what happened. When it came out of the oven, the crust was on top and the custard was on the bottom, but it was perfectly delicious. We still can't figure out how that happened.
Several
Your
years
grandfather
ago, we bought a new rice maker.
You
Now,
gotta
we'd
spin
always
around to
had
the
very
mic.
good rice in the house.
There you go.
So we bought a new rice maker, and the rice just never came out right
With the rice maker.
with the rice maker, with the new one. We would try different proportions of water to rice, always carefully measured according to the instructions. We tried all different brands of rice. This went on for about 3 years. And a couple of months ago, we were at a little Asian restaurant in Massachusetts. And the owner of the restaurant was a very nice fellow. We were the only customers in there. So finally, the rice that he served was some of the best I've ever had in my life. So I asked him, how do you get rice like that? He said, oh, it's very simple. He says, you just fill up the water to here. You know, he was right. Lorraine made some rice a couple of days ago,
Putting the water up to here.
and it was really good. And I said, how'd you do it? She said, I just up to here. Yeah.
I'm learning
There's a
quite
life
bit.
lesson there, too.
Indeed.
You know, the one thing I'm learning is all these things I had when I was a kid growing up, like we had that welfare rice, a welfare milk, the rice milk flour, and all that, and I just couldn't deal with it anymore. But you know what? I'm learning to eat rice again. I'm learning to eat, all these different things, because then I look at, and I'm so grateful that I think we all are. I'm so for what we have, aren't you?
That's right.
And I'm so grateful that even though I lived alone by myself and for many, many years, and I think like 9 years old till like 11 or 12, my father was always gone. I learned how to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned how.
And you
can-
turned out to be a good cook now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, Scott's better than I am now. I gave Scott the basic training and he comes out to be a pretty good cook. He's whatever he cooks,
The
he's
student
very
surpassed
precise.
the teacher.
I'm sorry?
The student surpassed
Right.
the teacher.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if he makes a homemade pie, if the recipe calls for a half a cup, it is exactly a half a cup.
Ah.
Or whatever. And, you don't have to, and the thing that I want to express to people, just because two men live together or two women live together does not mean that they're gay lovers. Does not mean, are we partners or spiritual partners? And doesn't mean that, I can remember in the old days, two men could not live together, but it was acceptable for two women to live
Yeah.
together. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
But but you could not have two men. Oh, that's wrong. Why are two men living together? And I said to one lady, honey, you'll never know what might go on. Then I like blowing people's minds and stuff like that. Now, one thing that when on your journey, spiritual journey, I want you to understand this. This is just the tip of the iceberg. That you're going to be doing a lot more. But I also will tell you that you're going to make a sabbatical of taking some time off and spending like a year to a year and a half working at the monastery.
In France.
No. Building up here.
Well, that wouldn't be a sabbatical. That's where I do all my work.
I know, but that means as a sabbatical you're not going to be traveling.
Oh, all right.
You're going to take some time off.
Great.
Because you've got to rebuild yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
And you now get tired very easily. You need vitamin B12. You take B12?
I did.
Yeah,
I
you
am
did.
taking. Yeah, I take.
You really
some
do. You
sometimes.
need iron pills too, because you're exhausted. You eat a lot of times. You eat on the run.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you actually sat down and had a meal for yourself?
I think we have our answer.
Don't remember.
You see, you need to take some time off. Don't focus. I would probably encourage you when you get back to take like 3 days off. Don't answer the phone. Let's work on you. Take a rest. Take a walk down by where you want to build your church. When I see you coming very shortly.
The trouble is, when I get back 3 days later, I have to be on the plane to Santo Domingo, where I'm giving another talk.
Well, then you have the one. Then how long have you been gone there?
A little over a week.
And when you get back from
When I
there,
get back, when I return.
please, it behooves you. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the hospital for 10 days,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't afford to do that.
No.
Besides, the bill will be astronomical.
Right.
But I really want you to start taking care of yourself a little bit more than you have been. Get rid of the couple of lowlights that we both know that try to haunt you. But I also will tell you that.
Try to deplete my resources.
Right. One of them I also will say, the well that you had, that was dug for you, right?
It was dug for me.
Okay, so I don't see problems there. But you have a creek not too far from you, right? Yeah. We talked
Yes,
about that.
right across
Yeah.
the road.
Yeah, because that's why I said that's a very hollow, sacred ground.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe you can keep it trimmed back with some beautiful flowers and stuff. But 100 years from now, that is going to be a very sacred, sacred people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that is going to be everlasting. And this is what our goal is, right? To keep things everlasting. Okay. You're going to be around till you're like 99 to 104 years old.
2 doctors had told me I wouldn't make it to 50,
Well, look at that.
and I'm 76.
Yeah. Well, I had a woman who told me I wouldn't make it to past by 67. I'm 73 and still growing strong.
You said you were 38.
Well, yeah. Well, I changed the numbers around a little bit.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Okay.
Modern dyslexia.
Well, actually, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I feel 37.
Right.
What is age is only if you want to be an old, decrepit person.
The
Right,
heart
Mary?
grows
Yeah.
Mary looks
younger.
better than I saw you 2 years ago, actually. You know. Lorraine, we haven't decided yet. Well, she's a great person. I just, you know, and for her to put up with Dave, she's got to be a great person.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, for each other.
She's approaching sainthood, but don't tell her I said it.
Oh, okay, we won't. Dave, you have your own teeth, right? You overbrush. You're brushing the enamel off your teeth,
Okay.
okay? Unless you want to go to the dentist and have a lot of dental work done. I've seen that drill.
Hey, we can do that.
Hey, yeah, you and I can do
I
that.
got a drill at home.
Okay. I got pliers.
You got pliers?
Yeah,
I got a screwdriver.
okay.
I'll take a, what else do I have?
Well, we
Oh,
can-
we can do it.
Yeah.
And I
Father-
have 2
Yeah.
hammers. I got a rubber one. Look,
Okay.
Lannis,
Father Paul, I think I'm going home and get an airline ticket.
Come with me to Santo Domingo.
I keep saying that to my
Absolutely, I'd love
sister the same way. And she gets mad at me. I don't know why. I try to help her out.
Yeah, they don't listen.
They won't listen to us.
I actually, my foster grandmother was full-blooded Indian, and she was like 97 years old or 98. And I sat there and I watched her. I think I was like 8 or 6 or 7. She literally took a pair of pliers and a pair of shears and dug every single one of her teeth out.
Oh. Why were they
They were all dead.
all decayed?
And she rinsed her mouth out with warm water. Then she put a pine tar, and used it to stop the bleeding and stuff.
Huh.
Interesting.
The old method. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. My dad used to buy a pint of whiskey and go to the dentist that way.
Uh-huh.
But I would not recommend, just some things, don't use a pair of pliers, don't do that,
Make sure they're sterilized. So.
Yeah, if you're going to do
Put
it.
them in hot water.
Yeah, there you go. We can sterilize them, Mary and I will be more than willing to help you.
I know.
But
Won't
they have to
charge anything.
Right, but you have to sign a waiver so we
Oh,
can't
yes,
get
yeah.
sued,
Yeah.
See, Mary and I think
trying to help.
We're just trying to, yeah.
Yeah.
If they want to have heart surgery, we can do that.
Yeah, we can try that too.
Yeah,
We can try anything.
yeah, we're not bashful.
No. I always wanted to be a surgeon.
Yeah, there you go. Then we'll get some
I
phone
know.
calls on that.
I know.
But you have a cat that hangs around your monastery.
Yes, yeah. A feral cat.
Yeah. You feed it?
I do.
Good, because that's looking for food.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a survivor when you're not there,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going to love you, but it won't come into your house, but it won't live there.
Mm-hmm.
It's so used to being outside.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And it's actually that feral cat is part of your spiritual being to keep your property.
Hmm.
Yeah. One of the things that I remember when I first met you was, boy, you sure had a lot of, what am I doing here when I was doing the reading the first time. But you know what? I am so grateful because I don't believe in accidents. I don't believe in coincidences. It was meant for you and I to meet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like with Dave and I, or Lorraine and I, or even Mary. We hadn't seen each other in like 40 years,
I know.
Yeah.
Everything,
folks, out there, you can believe it or not. Oh, it was some coincidence. No.
When I moved
Everything
next down
happened.
below you, that's how we got to know each other.
Yeah.
You do know what a coincidence is, don't you?
No.
It's simply the way that God protects his own anonymity.
Hmm.
Do you believe that everything happens for a reason?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I don't even use the word coincidence. I use the word providence.
I just say, you idiot, I was supposed to meet you. How dare you to walk away or whatever. No, I'm only kidding, folks, only kidding. Don't take I have a very rough exterior. But the one thing I do when I do spiritual counseling on people, I always say this, I will never turn my back on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't. They choose to, that's their choice. Right now I'm working with like 3 or 4 different people that have a drug addiction. And my heart goes out. Folks, get rid of the anger. Get rid of the hate.
How true.
Stop blaming the Democrats or the Republicans or
Stop
the
blaming you. Blame
independents.
yourself. Don't
Blame
blame
yourself,
everybody else
right.
around you.
Look around. Look at there's a lot of good in this country.
Absolutely. Very much.
There's a lot of love. Our children should never have to worry about going without food. Is it hating each other? Is that so important? And I'm an instigator. I'm not going to tell you I'm not.
He is. I agree with that.
You know him.
You hear that? I like to get people riled.
You do.
I really do because,
Oh, he gets them riled up on
Yeah.
Facebook.
yeah. I get
love
called
it.
a hater.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
I've been called a big mouth.
Oh, yeah. But you know what, folks? You can call me any name in the book. But if Mary makes homemade baked beef, you better not call me late for that. Or the rice that Dave made to bring to the event, or Lorraine made to bring to the event. That was very good, by the way. I didn't even get a bite. It went so fast. Did you give me another fried rice?
I think so.
Did you? I
Yeah.
didn't get any.
Yeah, I had some too. It was very good. In fact, I made some rice too with pineapple.
Oh, yeah, that was. When we have a cookout, when she comes over, we never know what to expect.
You
But it
never know
always
when I'm
comes up.
coming up.
My
It's my
daughter-in-law
mother's.
does not like carrots.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
She really doesn't. But she'll push me out of the way when Mary makes her carrots.
I make them special for her.
Yeah. This is it. I am so blessed with the family that I have. I don't know my real brother and father. I'm my real brothers and sisters, and that's okay because they're both passed. Like with you and the separation you had, But you know what? Life goes on. We can either say like with you and your sister, or like that. You know what? And like with you, especially your sister. You know what?
I
If
got a
we're going to
phone call
sit there,
from her.
yeah.
And you said that I'd be getting a phone call.
Did you
And
get
then-
it
Yeah.
from your sister? Wanting to forgive you? Want you to forgive her? Have you?
It's been a year, yeah. And another thing you told me to do, to forgive my father.
That was hard, wasn't
And
it?
it was hard.
But did
'Cause
you feel better
there was
afterwards?
frictions between after my mother passed away. And I guess I kind of hated him for passion, as I say. But I have. I forgive him.
Don't you feel better?
Yeah, I do.
That's like when I let when I let the unnecessary anger towards my dad, because I resented the fact that he ignored me and we got remarried. And I can remember telling him how much I hated her, and boy, he beat the heck out of me. But when we forgive, whether they're past or whether they're not, do you agree? That our life becomes a lot better. We don't ever forgive it for them. I mean, that helps, but make sure that when you forgive, that you forgive it for yourself, mainly. Your dad thanks you very much, by the
It's
way.
been over 30 years.
But he thanks you for forgiving
Yeah,
him.
and I finally, like you said, when y'all was ready.
Yeah.
All these years I wasn't, until last year, I said it's time.
Yeah, because it only hurts you.
Yep.
Folks, if you have anybody out there you need to have forgiveness from or ask for or you forgive them or whatever, write it out. Write out your forgiveness. You agree? And don't put it in a Bible. Don't put it in a drawer.
Yep.
Or somebody says, "Oh, I put it in the garbage and I burned it, put it down the sink." What good is that? Because then what are you doing? If you put it in the book, you put it in the Bible, you put it in the drawer. I mean, practice whatever you want to practice. I like to tell them to put it in, if you have some sage or any kind of incense, tear it up and put it in with the incense. Because what you're doing is you're sending positive energy and getting rid of the negative energy. That makes sense?
Well, it's you remind me of a situation. There was a young man who was dying of AIDS, and he had tuberculosis and a form of cancer. And his family had rejected him. He had been in jail and so forth. And but the man, he came to live in our monastery, in another monastery, because he was dying. He said he didn't want to die in the street like a dog.
Hello, Nom's Community Corner.
Colin's back.
And so he asked if he could come and die at the monastery. And as he was on the verge of dying, the day he died, I called his sister because the whole family had rejected him. I said, "Come to visit your brother. This is the last time you'll see him alive." No, he stole and he's been to jail and this and that. I said, "Come for yourself to forgive him, not for him. He doesn't need your forgiveness. You need to forgive him. Otherwise, if you don't, the day that you realize what you've done, you'll shed tears of blood. So have mercy on yourself. Come and forgive him." She did.
Yeah. And that's right. When Jerry passed away, I don't know anything about a past life or something he told me, and I talked to his sister and let him know that he was passing. Well, we don't care.
Hmm.
And I said, well, you know what? He has a great life here with me. If you don't want to come or talk to him, that's strictly up to you.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? He doesn't need your forgiveness.
Hmm.
She said, what do you mean? Because they're born again Christian. What do you need? I said, all he needs is a higher power's forgiveness, as long as he's in earnest of asking for forgiveness for the things that he made. She literally, I thought my eardrum was going to pop, you know. See, that's the thing is, I will never, everybody has a right to their own religion. Everybody has a right to their own belief. You know that. I know that. But if you're going to be a born-again Christian, if you're going to be a Catholic, if you're going to be an atheist or whatever, live it. You know, don't tell someone, oh, you're going to hell because you're not doing something right. That's my computer. No.
By itself.
That's the spirit letting us know. But, or judging me telling me because I've been married X amount of time, and that my son, according to the born-again Christian Bible, and that my son was born out of wedlock, so he was, and all this other stuff. And I go, wow, if that's Christianity, I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when my little baby girl died, they told me that it was my fault because I lived such a dreadful, dreadful life. And I looked at him and I said, you know what, if this is Christianity, I don't want it.
Hmm.
If if you're going to be a Christian, there's a lady that's on the show, I love her dearly. I think her name is Mary or something like that. She's a school member. I love this woman, okay? She lives by what she preaches to people.
Mm-hmm.
And I have another lady I mentioned that hates me so bad,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay, because she has to live with it, not me.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's going to like us.
For sure.
And that's okay. Not everybody's going to like the work that we do.
Yep, how true. I've
Yeah.
had people say, I don't like your show. I said, why do you watch it?
Yeah, really. I'm a verbal.
Nobody obliges you to watch it.
Yeah. They always watch because they want to see what they can criticize us on.
Yeah.
What the hell?
It's
the
like
spirit
someone
is
is,
acting up over here. We actually had 3 lady spirits over in the corner there all the time. Seriously. And we had these people from the paranormal group from Maine. Do you remember them?
Yeah.
And then one of them came over and started talking. Never come before and started talking to one of the ladies from the paranormal group. I wish there was a way I could prove this to everybody, but I can't. But you just have to go. You know that you also were actually worked at the Vatican in your past life. You were one of the not the Pope itself, but the next one in order. You were actually tortured. This is why you come back here to make amends for what you did. Nothing wrong with that. The people who thought you were doing something wrong. I think this Pope they have now is the greatest Pope going. He's not afraid to be humble. You agree with that?
I think one thing that's very interesting is that in the 13th century, St. Francis of Assisi was not a priest. He wasn't
No.
a member of the clergy. He was a layman. And at that time, and I'm not complaining about or criticizing the Catholic Church, but it was so very corrupt at that time.
Yeah.
But it was St. Francis, a layperson, and all the lay people who actually brought about the reform of the church. And I think we may see the same thing happening today, that with all of the corruption that we are sadly aware of, and the lay people are starting to respond and to react and to demand accountability. I think today, again, the church may be reformed by the lay people.
I actually see the priests actually having wives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the women are going to become a priest because they have such a low population of going and becoming Catholics.
Well, actually, in the Catholic Church, in the Orthodox Church, priests can still be married. They can't be monks and be married, but they can be priests in parishes. And in the Roman Church, that was true up until what, the 9th century or so.
Yeah.
And I think it will come back, just like you're saying. I think we'll see the day where Catholic priests will be allowed to marry.
I actually think that would cut down on the homosexuality. It would also cut down on the hurting of the children. And you know the sad part on that?
The thing is, they can become married before they become a
Right.
priest, not after.
Right. But the sad part is, it only takes, like what we do, like what I do as a reader and what Dave did, it only takes one or two people to do something wrong, then the whole thing, people are condemned by, the Catholic order condemned, like what you do. Oh, no, he's going to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like people think, because there are a lot of charlatans out there, no matter what walk of life you do.
Absolutely.
And always have been and always
will be. Oh, yeah.
Part of that shadow and gold thing.
Yeah, and I had a lady, it was so funny, come up, she says, "You're the one on TV." I go, "Yeah." She said, "You know you're doing the devil's work." I said, "Okay, but you're doing the devil's work by judging me." She didn't know what to say to that. And she said, "Oh, you're white." I go, "Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you very much for informing me." Because as far as I'm concerned, I don't know your color, nor do I want to.
Right.
I go by what your spirit is.
You go for what's inside.
Right. You go by your heart, And the sad part is every single one of us, if you do a DNA test, we came over from, a foreign country like Egypt or Africa or all these, we all have some kind of, you do your DNA, I am willing to bet a lot of people would have African blood in us.
Yeah, very, very possible, yeah.
I mean, look at Thomas Jefferson had slaves, George Washington had many, many slaves, and all these other people, So, folks, you people who are Nazi or you people who are KKK or whatever, and say with black people or, African American people or whatever, look at your DNA.
I was stunned about a year ago when I found out that the KKK was actually founded by ministers.
Yes.
And that from the Democratic Party.
I fell over when I saw that.
That's why Abraham Lincoln was killed,
Mm-hmm.
because he wanted to free the slaves, and he was a Republican. If they go into history, if they really wanted, I'm not going to go into it, but I mean, I'm just saying.
Right.
But those, the sad part is, half of the people that are protesting,
They don't know what they're doing.
nope, they
Yeah.
really don't. They have
No.
no clue. They're just doing it just to be looking. I remember looking on the Facebook news, this young girl. This man was 78 years old, and because he was a Republican, this girl was jumping up and down screaming at him. Don't even know why she was screaming at him, but then she hit him. That's when she got arrested. But she was screaming and yelling. She couldn't, and she didn't know why. Half the people really know why they're
They
protesting?
don't. They really don't. They really don't.
They just want to make noise and destroy it. What they don't realize is you're going against God's law as far as I'm concerned, or the universal spirit's law. And what they don't know, look at the taxpayer dollars that are being spent on the destruction of people. In Baltimore, when they had that riot, and now they made trouble, all that. And folks, you got to remember this. You who get freebies or whoever gets whatever, it's the taxpayers' dollars. If you're getting state assistance or whatever, because of all the destruction that is going on in this country, you may lose some of that money that you're entitled to because they got to find ways of rebuilding.
And in any event, for any healthy changes in a society, it always begins with an individual. We have to change ourselves first. You can't bring about a change in society if you haven't changed. Yep. And if enough people begin to change themselves, then the society will change.
That's like I welcome everybody to my door.
Mm-hmm.
And what if they are not nice and they don't? One time I had a couple come in, they were a little bit overweight a little bit, and it was so funny. As you know, I have a little dog, and also her little tail just shoots right up like that. You want to see two overweight people running down the porchway? It was just so funny because she would literally, of course I didn't have my video camera then, but she was literally chasing them down the street. What would, okay, I'm going to use, we got 3 more minutes or 4 minutes. How can we help to change the world, Bishop?
Change ourselves. Start with ourselves.
Yeah.
I could not have said it any better.
Okay. Mary?
Like God says, we're all brothers and sisters.
Lorraine?
No matter what color you are.
I think we just have to learn to love everybody. And love is the answer, I believe. I think if we can find love,
You got to pop over here so they can hear you.
If we can find love, we can find the answer to all of the problems. If we can find love within inside ourselves and for other people, no matter what the situation is, and things will work out. That's how I feel anyway.
I got to stop instigating people on Facebook.
Yeah. But what she's saying is,
Yeah,
by love, when we change ourselves, it's through love. And we begin to radiate that love and that light. And others around us will catch it.
And that's the most important. And I agree with you. I would like, and my goal is to have 1 hour every day for the whole world just to meditate and to pray. Father, would you like to say a closing blessing for us?
Dear Lord, thank you very much for bringing us together. We have asked for your inspiration, and we're hoping that the messages that have been given have gone out to teach and reach souls for their benefit, so that little by little our society becomes healthy, blessed, and happy again. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you all for listening. We will be downloading it probably within the next week, but that so that you'll be able to see it on YouTube. You can see how gorgeous you are and how Dave is. But of course, like me being the gorgeous one, And Mary, thank you for coming on.
It was a pleasure.
It was
I
fun.
enjoyed it.
And it really was. You know what? The calmness of this was awesome. The energy was really great. And Bishop, I want to thank you for being on again. Next time you come on, we'll have you on again. And wasn't that bad, was it? No. I didn't pick on you like I usually do with a lot of people, see.
I was expecting.
Well, my spirit said to behave and treat you with respect. So everybody remember, every week and every day, you are the winner. We'll see you next week.